Okay, so we're ready for Common Tip 5 here. This is going to get a little bit trickier. So Common Tip 5, when necessary, use commas for clauses that begin with the words where, which, who, whom, whose, so on and so forth. So if you would please write down all of this information here in your notes. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. I recommend you do too. So start the video back up when you are done. Yeah, so I was just asked a question by a student as they were taking their notes what the zero meant. This means no comma goes there. So you have, in this case here, the student ran into his class, so the student who saw a spaceship land in the parking lot. Again, I don't have commas before or after this. And I'll explain this concept more clearly here in a second, as soon as we're done taking our notes. Okay, so obviously right here, we've got live links to like relative pronouns and relative adverbs if you want to see examples of those. It's not really important for this. The important thing here is we need to understand the difference between an essential clause and a non-essential clause. Okay, so first what we're talking about here is essential. If you click on this link, it'll give you a definition, but essentially it gives information that defines or clarifies the very general word coming before it. In plain English, if I'm looking at a very general word coming before the clause, like student, I mean, it's like, who's this? I have no idea. How many students do I have? I've got a ton of them, right? Matter of fact, technically speaking, I have more than one. And so this is going to be considered a general term, and anything that they use to describe or, again, define or clarify which one I'm talking about, that's going to be considered essential. And I do not use punctuation there. So I've got here, the student is my very general word, student. Again, I don't know who that is. And what they did was ran to his class. That's my main clause here. Remember when we were practicing finding main clauses in Common Tips, 1, 2, 3, and 4 for that matter. So again, this says the student ran to his class. They stuck this clause here. Who saw a spaceship land in the parking lot? Oh, it was that one, that student. Okay, so again, this further defined or clarified which student we were talking about, so this is considered essential. Okay, so on the next one, again, I've got the student again. It's still not clear who I'm talking about here, all right, in this sentence, because again, it's the student. There's more than one of these, all right? The student ran to his class. Again, this is my main clause. That's what the sentence says, the student ran to his class. They added this. It's the one whom Dr. Skinner counsels. Again, this describes what student I'm talking about. Because student is, again, I don't know who you're talking about exactly yet, this makes this an essential clause, and as you can see here, does not require commas. Okay, so again, if I start with a generic term, or someone or something, it could be more than one thing, it's not clear exactly what single one I'm talking about yet. Whatever follows it that describes it's going to be considered essential, and I will not use commas. Okay? Great. They give us some more here. So here we are. Mrs. Mosley returned the quiz to the student, and plus 0 plus essential clause. Again, this is another pattern. Please note no other information comes off after this. The essential clause was stuck at the end of the sentence. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's the same pattern. I've got generic term student followed by something that explains what student we're talking about. Because student is a generic term, this information is essential, and there's no comma. Okay, nothing there. Ms. Mosey returned the quiz to the student whom everyone admires. Again, generic term followed by something explaining or further clarifying who we're talking about. No commas. All right, non-essential clause is the next one. So you're going to want to write down this stuff in your notes. Non-essential. Here is what goes on with non-essential. Non-essential clauses are going to require commas. Okay? Here I have a specific person named. Robert ran to his class. We've got something here that's going to describe who Robert is further, but because I already know who I'm talking about, non-essential. So I'll let you go ahead and put that in your notes and then I'll explain further. So I'll go ahead and pause here. Thanks. I appreciate that. Okay, so again, second classification of these clauses, non-essential. It gives information or clarifies an already specific word. I hope you highlighted that. All right, so I have someone specific here. It's Robert, the one and only. All right, Robert ran to his class. So anything that we have here gives more information or whatever. Non-essential clause, it's going to use these commas here. Okay, so that's the structure. So this is all about, if I may try to make this as easy as possible, it's all about the thing or person being described. If it has been made specific already, whatever follows is going to be non-essential. So I have Robert, who saw a spaceship land in the parking lot and ran to his class. Again, I'm talking about Robert already.
Mr. Hattie?
Yes.
Can I have Carter to the office, please? He's leaving.
Absolutely, he's on his way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so already specific. So this is non-essential, therefore I need the commas. Already specific, so I need the commas. Again, when I look at it, I see Robert ran to his class. Robert ran to his class. Here I have Miss Mousy returned the quiz to Christy. Again, I've named the person. So this becomes a necessity because the clause that follows becomes unnecessary to identify who it is I'm speaking about. So that's what it comes down to. Okay, let's see if you guys can apply this idea. Okay, so people who know their grammar rules shouldn't always correct those of us who don't. So, who know their grammar rules? It doesn't need any commas? Because people is like who, right? What people, right? It's people who know their grammar rules, right? So this provided more specific information, no comma. My brother James, who cannot please dad, has decided to move to Michigan. Again, who cannot please dad? Who's this described? The one and only, right? So we've already specifically named James, so this is non-essential, right? So do I need commas? Yes, I do. Okay, next one. Basketball players whom I admire the most play for teams other than the Orlando Magic. Require commas or not?
No.
No, because basketball players are generic. There's a whole bunch of these dudes, right? The movie Aliens, which I've seen 27 times, contains too much violence for my nephews to watch.
Yes.
Does require them because we specifically named aliens, right? Number 5, we watched Crazy Kid on a skateboard weave through the heavy traffic on Orange Avenue. The kid, who had no fear of death or litigation, leaped a curb and crashed into a lawyer walking along the sidewalk. So,
I don't think so, because it's not
weird, isn't it?
describing the, or because like
It
what
is,
kid.
yeah, it is describing the kid here. But we know which kid we're talking about already because,
Yeah.
right? We know we're talking about one kid only here already. So this one here, even though he's not named, this one became specific because of the information that came before. I know what I'm talking about. All right, great, wonderful. Any questions, concerns, fears, comments, ideas, observations, suggestions, expectations, clarifications needed over the stuff we covered today?
No.
Up to 4 or 5? Okay. So, momentos, por favor.
All right.